Ja, kijk. Yes. Oh, 17 kijkers, joh. Alright. Ben ik goed in beeld? 17. Ik heb geen idee wat ik aan het doen ben. Dat is voor mij ook voor het eerst. Livestream van mijn training. Maar goed, we gaan zien hoe dat gaat. Ja, ik heb vandaag eigenlijk niet heel veel spannends. Ik ga een uurtje fietsen op de Wahoo. En daarbij ga ik gewoon een warming-upje doen. Kwartiertje. Rustig stijgen. En daarna eventjes even rustig doorfietsen. En nog 2 series van 30-30. Oh, mijn hoofd is half te zien. Dat is niet goed. De camera moet eigenlijk iets verder. En dan nog een paar serietjes van 30-30. 5 keer 30-30 en dat keer 2. Om nog een klein beetje lactaat aan te maken. Maar dat is beter? Oké, goed zo. Dus ja, gezellig. Oh shit, vergeet op start te drukken. Toch weer 2 minuten voor niks gefietst. Nou ja, de eerste kwartier dus rustig opbouwen. En proberen te denken aan de cadans. Rond de 100 rpm aanhouden. En ja, rustig opbouwen. Eerst 5 minuten gewoon peddelen. Lage hartslag. Dan 5 minuutjes ja, rond de D2 zitten. Dan 5 minuten D3. En ja, uiteindelijk langzaam opbouwen naar omslagpunt of ietsjes boven omslagpunt. Dat is meestal het warming-up protocol wat ik gebruik. En daarna doe ik nog wat sprintjes. Oké, Thomas. Ja, veel plezier hè. De vraag is, ik rij op een Wahoo kikker. Ja, dat klopt. Top apparaatje. Lekker stabiel. Vermogen komt echt heel goed overeen met ja, wat ik op de weg voel. Dus dat is wel prettig. En je kan ook best wel ja, de weerstand echt goed verhogen. Zodat je als sprinter ook nog echt wel gewoon je vermogen kwijt kunt. Dat is wel lekker. Wat hangt er voor kunstig bordje achter je op de muur? Dat is volgens mij het bord van overwinning in Tour of Alberta in Canada. Etappe 4 zo te zien. Dus ja, dat was een prijs die ik in 2014 won. En ik ben nu bij mijn ouders trouwens. Dus ik ben niet in het zuiden van Europa. En nu eventjes bij mijn ouders op bezoek. Proberen mijn ouders van straat te houden. In deze tijden. Misschien wel verstandig. En vandaar dat we dit organiseren. Dus dat ik niet, dat we niet met grote groepen meer de weg op gaan. In ieder geval proberen gewoon jezelf wat af te zonderen van mensen. Vanwege de situatie waar we nu in zitten. Bizar eigenlijk. Normaal gesproken doe ik het ook niet heel vaak op een home trainer fietsen. Liefst ga ik toch altijd naar buiten. En zeker als je gewoon wat langere duurritten hebt, dan is dat wel prettig om met groepjes te gaan. Maar dat kunnen we op dit moment beter niet doen. Op dit moment is denk ik toch gewoon verstandiger om gewoon of binnen te blijven. Als je toch naar buiten gaat, zolang het nog kan, zou ik toch alleen gaan fietsen. En heb je de kick power of core? Dat weet ik eigenlijk niet. Geen idee. Wat is het verschil? En Jeroen, hoeveel RPM? Hoeveel RPM? Nou, normaal gesproken hou ik een RPM aan van als ik rustig fiets, probeer ik altijd wel boven de 100 te fietsen. Snelheid, op de weg. Kijk, als wegrenner, dan zit je gewoon standaard boven de 30 gemiddeld. Maakt niet uit hoe lang het is. Tenzij je aan het losfietsen bent natuurlijk. Maar we kijken eigenlijk niet echt veel naar snelheid. Als wegrenner ook dan eigenlijk het enige waar je naar kijkt is gewoon je RPM en je vermogen, je hartslag. Hoe dat met elkaar verhoudt. En soms heb je gewoon echt ontzettende wind tegen of je rijdt een berg op. Dan heb je niet zoveel aan snelheid. Dus het enige wat voor een wegrenner eigenlijk belangrijk is gewoon het gemiddelde vermogen of het vermogen waarmee je fietst, waarmee je thuis komt. En de hartslag. En die verhouding die hou je altijd in de gaten. Als je op een gegeven moment het gevoel hebt van die hartslag die gaat niet lekker omhoog of het vermogen blijft laag terwijl mijn hartslag omhoog vliegt. Dat zijn allemaal indicaties voor hoe je ervoor staat. Uiteindelijk natuurlijk ook je gevoel is ook heel belangrijk. Dat zijn toch altijd een beetje de dingen waar je naar kijkt. En uiteindelijk ook als wegrenner natuurlijk ook, als baansprinter ook natuurlijk, is je gewicht heel belangrijk. Dus dat zijn een beetje de parameters die je in de gaten houdt. En probeert zo goed mogelijk te krijgen. Herman, welke spullen heb je daar allemaal bij je ouders om goed te kunnen trainen? Nou, op dit moment eigenlijk heb ik alles wel nodig, of alles wat ik nodig heb om goed voor te kunnen bereiden. Op de wedstrijd die misschien niet komen gaat. Ik heb zo'n Wahoo hier, dus ik kan in principe gewoon lekker op mijn wegfiets. Gewoon lekker blokken doen. Lekker fietsen. In een houding die je gewoon gewend bent. Dat is ook wel belangrijk. Ik heb hier een wattbike staan. Die is geleverd door de KNBU. Dus ik kan daar echt specifieke sprintoefeningen doen. En dat is best wel een stabiel apparaat. Waar je gewoon volle bak op kan rammen. Dus daar hoef je je zeg maar echt niet in te houden. Daar kun je gewoon echt gaan. Daar doe ik echt zeg maar de extreme volle bak sprints. Dus echt 5, 6, 7 seconden sprints, starts. Alles kun je daarop doen. Ik heb hier ook een baanfiets staan. Waarmee ik, als ik echt wat starts wil gaan doen, kan ik eigenlijk daar wel mee de weg op hier op het platteland in Hieden. Komt niet veel verkeer. Dus ik kan gewoon eigenlijk de weg op en kan een paar stadjes doen in een veilige situatie. Ik heb hier een gym. Dus ik heb van het Omnisport en van de KMU heb ik gewichten gekregen. Halter met zoveel gewicht dat ik eigenlijk gewoon de komende weken goed uit de voeten kan, waar ik mijn trainingsprogramma prima mee kan uitvoeren. En we zaten natuurlijk sowieso nu een periode na het WK waar je eigenlijk nu aan het opbouwen bent. Dus ja, dan doe je niet heel specifiek werk op de baan. Dus ben je gewoon, de training bestaat dan uit wegtraining, krachttraining, wat oefeningen op je wegfiets en wat specifieke oefeningen op de baanfiets, maar niet heel veel. Misschien 2 keer in de week of zo. En dat is voor de komende weken het plan in principe. En daarna zouden we toch wel weer de draad oppakken door veel specifiek werk te gaan doen. En op te bouwen richting augustus. Ik had zelf als doel gesteld om nog een recordpoging te doen op de kilometer in Bolivia. Dat zou 26 april plaatsvinden. Maar ja, gezien de omstandigheden kwam ik er toch al een paar weken geleden achter van dat met de uitbraak, dat gaat al heel lastig worden. Ook in Bolivia had je op dat moment al een aantal gevallen. En Bolivia is toch een derde wereldland. En daar wil je eigenlijk niet zitten, denk ik, op het moment van de uitbraak. En ja, toen het eigenlijk helemaal los ging met corona, dan was het gewoon een makkelijke beslissing om daar niet heen te gaan. We hebben ook een Japanse kijker. Konnichiwa. En wanneer verwacht jij wedstrijden gereden gaan worden in de training? Nou, wanneer verwacht ik dat de wedstrijden gereden gaan worden? Ik heb echt geen idee. Ik volg het nieuws wel. Maar dat is heel moeilijk te zeggen. Als je bijvoorbeeld kijkt naar China, hoe de situatie daar nu is, dan lijkt het onder controle. Tenminste, dat horen wij. Maar goed, daar begon het allemaal volgens mij in december, als ik het goed heb. Dus eind december of zo. Nou ja, we zitten nu eind maart. Het is alweer 3 maanden verder. En dan is dan een land die echt wel weet wat ze moeten doen volgens mij om zo'n virus onder controle te krijgen en extreme maatregelen kan nemen. Ja, dan vraag ik me af hoe lang het hier gaat duren. Omdat we nu ook echt in dezelfde situatie zitten als Europa zijnde. Ik denk alleen dat de maatregelen die er nu getroffen worden, dat gewoon niet voldoende is. Dus ik ben benieuwd hoe dit gaat ontwikkelen. Daar ben ik eigenlijk een beetje bang voor. Maar greetings from Argentina, greetings back. KMU vindt het onverantwoord om de Spelen door te laten gaan. Ja, daar ben ik het wel mee eens. Kijk, als de situatie gewoon lang gaat duren, en daar lijkt het volgens mij wel op, dat het echt nog wel een tijdje gaat duren voordat er überhaupt iets van controle voelt. Dan snap ik wel dat een bond die voor zijn renners staat en voor zijn sporters staat, dat die zegt van we willen niet dat onze sporters op die manier risico gaan lopen om zich voor te bereiden op een wedstrijd. En ik snap dat een bond zich, dat die zijn sporters in bescherming wil nemen. En ik vind het goed dat ze dat ook gewoon duidelijk uitgesproken hebben en vrij vroeg al. Dus ik denk dat het ook wel belangrijk is dat je gewoon een vroege mening vormt en dat uitspreekt. En dat misschien dan dat het toch een wake-up call is voor de organisatoren. Om een beslissing te nemen wat te doen. Want ja, volgens mij wordt die beslissing alleen maar uitgesteld. Want niemand kan of durft echt een beslissing te nemen. Of ja, maar ja, we hebben het over de Olympische Spelen dan. Om het door te laten gaan of niet door te laten gaan, of uit te stellen, of ja, laten te organiseren, of af te blazen. Dus ja, ik vind het goed dat de bond die stelling heeft genomen. Joe, I have to do a sprint. I'm still in the warm-up. I will do a sprint later, okay? I just already said also in Dutch. Normally I had an idea to go to Bolivia and do a record attempt. And to try to break the world record of François Pervis on the kilometer. And that record is already there for, I think, since 2013. And he rode at that time an extremely fast kilometer. So from a still stand, he rode 1 kilometer in 56 seconds. And that's just an insane time. But it was on altitude, so the circumstances are really good. And at this moment, this last year, I think they finished a very good track in Bolivia, a wooden track indoor, on altitude of 2,600 meters. And supposedly, this track is extremely fast. And I thought, okay, already for a couple of years, I'm thinking about the idea to just, now I still can and I'm still in decent shape, to at least have an attempt. And also, I did some good times at the World Championships. For example, under 1 minute in Apeldoorn. And also this year, I did 1 minute flat. So for sea level, those are good times. And I thought, maybe if it's a really good track and I'm in good shape, maybe I have a chance to break his record. And this year, the Quad Bike team, they organized a race at that track in Bolivia. And I was in contact with them. And they wanted to do a lot of attacks on the team pursuit, for example, our record. And they were preparing full gas for this event. And after Worlds, I had a week off and made a plan to go there as well. But now, during the Worlds already, Corona was already getting started in Europe. And we were lucky, I think, that the World Championship still could go on. But every day the situation is getting more and more extreme. And every day I had less hopes to go to Bolivia. And now it's just, of course, now it's not possible at all. almost done with the warm-up. My cadence is a little bit too low. No, not really. Michiel, if I play golf in the backyard, I don't really do that anymore. I lost all the golf balls. I think also you shoot them away. So I have to buy some new ones. Then maybe we can play again. Yeah. See you, eh? So the warm-up is done. Wasn't the super warm-up, too much talking. But normally, yeah, it's like 15 or 20 minutes. We say Steigerung in German, but it's in Dutch. We say it in Dutch somehow. It's just a ramp, and then just a couple of minutes easy. Then a few sprints full gas. It's a typical time trial warm-up. And also, I think for time trial, if you like time trial, it's important to keep your warm-up short. Just do a lot of do some stretching, do this 20-minute ramp, couple of sprints, and yeah, get ready. Maybe a little bit easy on the roller, then get ready for the time trial. I think the biggest mistake, also I do that sometimes, is doing too much before an event. But yeah, it's better just to keep it short and don't make yourself too tired. A question from Shin. Tell me about fitting cleat position. Yeah, it's always a good question. Actually, I have no idea what is the best cleat position. For me, the most important thing is that my feet are straight, more or less, like this, not like this, also not too much like this. So basically straight. Yeah, if you, what is important, I think, is that you put the cleat or the shoe close to the crank. So if you have the cleat on your shoe, for example, on your right foot, on this one, on this leg, don't put the cleat here so that your foot is, that you are pedaling like this, but get your foot close to the crank so the foot is more straight under you. So you have always direct the power on the pedal. If you pedal a bit like too wide, it's difficult to have a good cadence, also to make good cadence, and also yeah, to produce the power straight on the pedal. And also forward or backward. Yeah, sometimes I tried almost everything. So put the cleat a lot backwards. So you're basically riding with the center of your feet. Some riders like that. I tried that, wasn't really nice. I tried to put the cleat almost to the toes, so that the axle of the pedal is in front of the ball of your feet. I also didn't really like that. I tried this in a stage race, but wasn't really a success. But some track riders like to do it because you're riding with a higher cadence, and where speed is more important than force. So you can ride a little bit more with your toe and get some speed or power from your calf and feet. But yeah, I'm always now kind of in the middle, not too extreme. Just a little bit, the ball of my feet a little bit in front of the axle. So I think that's just keep that simple and easy, and then you can't really go wrong. When I'm stopped with cycling, what do I look forward to? Sometimes you need to do training when you are already fatigued a lot, and you have to get out of bed early, warm up while feeling not great. Sometimes those are the moments I'd rather stay in bed, which is, those are the hard moments, I think. Sometimes I also find it's difficult to be consistent, to do every day the same thing, and eat well, sleep well, train well. And that's the biggest gain I think you can get in sports, the consistency you have in training and in your life. But sometimes it's difficult to maintain that, and you need a little bit of a break from that. Always in the right balance, of course. But yeah, sometimes you need to be consistent for a longer period, and that's sometimes it all has to do with the discipline, how you how you live your life as an athlete, and the discipline. Of course, for one day it's easy. As a road rider, for example, you get up, you have a coffee, you have a clean breakfast, you get on your bike, ride for 4 hours, for example, do a few efforts, and then get back, eat healthy, have a good rest, have a good dinner, and then your day is done. And I think compared to a lot of people who are working a normal job, this can be an easy day. But you have to do this every day almost, and week in, week out, every month and every year. And I think this is the most difficult thing, to have every time to do the same thing. And especially if you don't like to live your life as an athlete, if it's giving you a lot of resistance when you're doing the process of getting better or working towards a race, then it's really difficult. You can do it for a while, but then you need to decompress also, and it's difficult to have a longer career, because it costs so much energy sometimes. And but for me, I really like the process of getting up and try to eat healthy and train well and getting better and try new things. So I think that's why I'm now 36 and still riding a bike and at an okay level. I just enjoy the life and I do enjoy the process. And I think that is important. I think whatever you do, if you don't really like what you do and it costs energy, then it's gonna be difficult to maintain. Nice question from Herman. How many days I spent in quarantine in my life? I think if I'm in Japan and I'm racing Kirin, and we do a tournament, we have to stay in quarantine 3 nights because of it's a gambling sport, so you cannot be in contact with anyone. You just do your race, and after 3 days, you go out. So the quarantine is like 3 nights. I do, let's say, 10 tournaments per year. So that's 30 nights in quarantine every year. I've been there the last 4 years. So that's 4 times 30 is 120 days. And before that, I did a little bit less tournaments, but also some years, maybe 4 or 5 years. So let's say the same. So let's say 240 days in total. So I'm kind of used to it. But I think the quarantine, in one side, of course, it's a little bit more difficult there because you have no mobile phone, no internet. You cannot do a live stream of your training ride, for example. But on the other hand, of course, there is no corona, so it doesn't really matter. It's Sven. Ask me best victory ever. I think still best victory ever on the track is the win I had in Kirin in 2006 in Bordeaux at the World Championships. It was a really nice race. I was there together with Teun in the final, with Teun Miller, and Teun was also a super strong Kirin rider. Spent many years in Japan. He was the previous world champion, 2005. And he had a bronze medal in London at the Olympics in the Kirin. And also he is a super strong kilo rider, 2 times world champion kilo. And we were in the final together, both in good shape. And before the final, I said to him, okay, I'm just gonna do 2 laps Schakel. I felt super good. I had a good endurance in the legs and good speed, and I was confident. And with Teun in my wheel, yeah, for sure, if I pull the sprint, we could be either I win or he wins, but for sure we will be first and second almost if I just go flat out for a 500 meter. And you see it now also, Harry Lafrijsen, he did it at the World Championships, a similar tactic, and also at the Europeans. Just go take the front with a lot of speed, and then when you make so much speed in the wheel, it's very difficult for riders to catch you again. And if you have a strong rider in your wheel, probably he can pass you, but still you finish in front of the pack. So that was the plan. And behind the journey, we were both in Last and second last position. I was in second last. Teun was in my wheel, and then he goes out. 2.5 laps to go. I start my sprint, and maybe towards the 2 laps to go. And before that happened, one Spanish rider, he already took the front, and his tactic was always take the front with 2.5 laps to go, like really early, but then brake a little bit, let somebody pass, and sit in the wheel, and then you are in second in a good position. That's also a very standard tactic in keirin. But this guy, he braked a little bit too hard with 2 laps to go, so he lost a lot of speed, while I was in full speed with Teun on my wheel. I passed very close, but Teun, he got a little bit of a hook from a French rider, and he lost totally all of his speed, and he couldn't get past the group. So I was basically alone. And the Spanish rider, he said also later, he tried a little bit to chase me, but he soon found out I was already at too much top speed, and he couldn't catch me anymore. So he only rode for protecting his second wheel, or his second place. And so he's just watching back and basically do a ride from the front again. And I was gone, with 1.5 lap to go. And still was quite far, especially when you're riding on such small gears. I was on 52.14 at that time. It's crazy small. The starters are doing this now in a team sprint, this gear. But I was gone, and I win with the big gap, and so I can win and celebrate already long before the finish. That was a really nice moment. What? First question. Why didn't you beat everyone on road after getting in shape? Road cycling, it's a little bit different than track cycling. A lot different. But anyways, I managed to win quite some races. But to beat all the top riders at that time, now there is a new generation of sprinters with Groenewegen, Viviani, Caleb Ewan. But a couple of years ago, of course, you had Greipel, Cavendish, Kittel. They were the guys to beat, and it was possible for me sometimes to beat them, especially in fast sprints or races that aren't that crazy hard. But to beat them in a Grand Tour, that's something else. It also has something to do with, of course, the distance, but also that you are riding a race with 200 guys, and that's a little bit different than a keirin with 6. So if you get into a final of a road race, for example, the last 20 kilometers, there's a group of guys who wants to stay in the front. Maybe, let's say, 70 riders or something, or maybe even more. They want to stay in front because in a good race, you have, for example, 10 sprinters, and they all bring a team to pilot them to the front. So the race, the effort already really starts 20k to go. in big races. And that's just it's like almost like a time trial with some spikes, with some efforts, to corners, out of corners, sprinting towards important moments, key moments on the circuit where you have to be in front. And if you don't make that to the front at that place, you cannot sprint anymore. So, and then of course, you have the circuit itself, can be up and down. Sometimes you have, what organizers like to do is to put the finish line on a little hill somehow, or you have an easy, a clean sprint, run towards the sprint, but then suddenly you arrive in a little village and they like to put 5 corners in the last 2 kilometers. All these things you don't have on the track. The track is also much safer, I think. There are no obstacles or road furniture or whatever. Sprints on the road are quite complicated. And I think I was good enough to win, but the big races I wasn't good enough. How is this working? Of course, muscle mass is very important, but a rider on the track, but also on the road, of course, is always finding the right balance between his power output and his weight. So power to weight ratio, it doesn't only count for climbers. All the riders in the peloton are looking at their power to weight ratio. If you have good power, for example, you can ride 400 watts at threshold, or I don't know, let's say 450 at threshold, which is extreme. And some people I know can do that, some track riders. But they are also quite heavy, like 85 kilos, for example. This is not ideal for. This is ideal for flat PTs, but not for to be a road rider. Then it can be quite hard to. Actually, if you're 85 and ride 450 at threshold, you will be a decent road rider, but you won't be a climber. And to be a good climber, you have to have a very high threshold and be super light. And you have to be able to maintain this for a longer period, but also for at one day also for a long time, for many hours. And as for a sprinter, for example, on the track, it's also quite important, especially when you are accelerating, to have super high peak power. Like the guys in the national team in Holland, they all have peak power above 2,500 watts, which is extreme, but they are also relatively light for this power. So some riders can do 2,600, 2,700 watts, and they are light. Let's say around 90 kilos, which is really good for a track sprinter. But for sprinting on the track, the most important thing is, the only thing you must do is to have high peak power. If you have high peak power, or let's say a good 10 or 12 second power, then then you can be a good track rider. Looks nice question. Yeah, I will teach you some riding in this village, Heden. I still have enough bikes for you, so yeah, soon we're gonna plan for a good training camp, and then we're gonna prepare you to become a good track rider or road rider, what you want. Another one. Question: have you ever thought to really go for classic races? Well, it's my first year as a pro. I rode for Cervelo test team, which was a super nice team. So many good riders, super equipment. We rode on Cervelo, great clothing. Yeah, good atmosphere in the team. I came there as a sprinter for the smaller races, and at that time Cavendish, I think, was the best sprinter in the world. So I did some small races I did Qatar, I did some races in Spain, and I won my first pro race in Murcia, and first race I won in Almeria, actually. Almeria, and then the week after I won a stage in Murcia. So yeah, the smaller races I could win, and then the classics were coming closer, and I wasn't normally in the classic team, but Heinrich Hausler, he had a knee injury at that time, and he couldn't compete in his beloved classics the year before. He was in super shape, second in Milan-San Remo, almost won. Riding super fast in all the Belgian classics. But he was out, and I was his replacement for Paris-Roubaix. And that was super nice experience. The rider of our team, who we worked for, was Thor Hushoft. And I was riding with Jeremy Hunt and also Roger Hammond. And we all worked for Thor, and Roger was also in a free role. So yeah, I was suddenly 2 years after my track career riding Paris-Roubaix for one of the best classic riders. And Thor also the year before was in a very big chance of winning, and he was in super shape also. So there was a little bit nervous times for me. And also the Wednesday before I did Schakel. I think I finished top 20. And the Thursday after we did the recon Paris-Roubaix. So it was for me the first time on those cobbles. And I was totally dead. Everything, like my hands, arms, I could barely follow the group. And I was just like, oh shit, this is gonna be super hard. And Thor, of course, was flying sometimes. He went full gas and nobody could follow him. And then the race started, and my job was just to help him and protect him and stay in front and be there until Arenberg, basically. And then I was able to do that. And somehow I had good legs. And I think also later I thought, how was that possible? I think also we rode on the best equipment of the peloton. We rode on carbon wheels, a little bit deeper, like 3 centimeters deep, while everybody was still on aluminium rims and really tough wheels, which everybody thought at that time was the best wheels. But yeah, on the cobbles I could pass a lot of riders. And I don't think it was because I was a lot stronger, but basically I think I was on better equipment. So I tried to support him, and I could do a lot of things for him, bring him some food or drinks or whatever. And in the end, he finished second, which was a super job. And I think Roger, in the end, finished fourth. So that was a super nice experience. But the difference between helping a rider into a final, for me, at 200 kilometers, all the lights went out. And if you see them later on TV, riding so fast, it's incredible to imagine that. So for me, I rode after also a couple of times, again Roubaix, but never as good as at that time. I finished 56th, which is a nice moment for me in my career. So yeah, and Milan-San Remo I never rode. And I also rode sometimes the other Belgian classics, but yeah, it's just for a pure sprinter like me, it's too difficult. So I need fast races. What would you say who was the best and most skillful track sprinter you have ever seen? Do you have any favorite riders on the road? I think the most skillful riders on the track, I think, is Awang from Malaysia. He is super good and super skillful, and he can maneuver really well between in a keirin, for example. He can squeeze himself through a gap who is not there. Amazing. But you see nowadays also in sprint, the sprints are becoming more and more a drag race, or just so one rider goes full gas from the front, goes into sprinter's lane, and the other rider tries to pass him. So the tactics are becoming more and more easy, or maybe a little bit more boring to watch. And if the generation before me, so what I saw on TV, those guys were also using a lot of tactics, maybe a little bit too much. But yeah, they were definitely really skillful. And I think the riders now also are still skillful, but yeah, they don't really use it to win a race. But yeah, the generation before me was, for example, Jens Fiedler. He was super smart, very good tactics always. Yeah, very risky on the track, like passing underneath and diving down. It was very cool to watch. You had Laurent Garnet, for example, very aggressive rider, but also very good tactically and super good skills, of course. Who else you had who are very skillful? I think, at the moment, at this time, Awang is the most skillful rider. And normally you also see if a rider is good on the bike or good on the track, if he doesn't really qualify super fast, but work his way up in a sprint tournament to finish, for example, top 4. So sometimes you see a rider who is 12 or 15 in qualification, finishing top 4. That says a lot. And also the other way around. If a rider is very fast but doesn't make it to the final, yeah, then he has something to learn and have to work on his skills. Do you have supplements off time? Yeah, Yeah, I think the question is if you stop using supplements, for how long, or yeah, and what do you take? For example, the supplements. I think, yeah, the best supplements to use is just as a sprinter, creatine. To use that as a to give you a little bit more tension on the legs. For example, to use in gym, it's proven as a proven supplement to be helpful. Another supplement I use is beta alanine. That's a supplement that's, for example, you find, or what do you say, something you find in for example, turkey. If you eat turkey, you eat also a lot of beta alanine, and this is good for getting less when you are feeling the lactate in your legs. This supplement uses it, or let you continue a little bit longer. So for short efforts, like for example until 45 seconds, beta alanine can be really useful. But you have to load this like creatine, also for a couple of weeks. And the other supplement, of course, is protein. Yeah, I think after every training, it's important to have some whey protein, 20 grams, maybe a little bit more, to have directly. And then you have lunch or dinner or whatever. And then before sleep, some casein protein. So the body gets protein during the night in a slow way. Casein is broken down more slowly than whey protein. Whey protein is getting in your body really quickly for recovery, so this is really good. And during the night, you get your body receives the protein really slowly over the whole period of the night. And before the race, I usually take some caffeine. Not too much, because if I take too much, I'm already really tensed before a race. So if you take too much caffeine, it just brings you too far, and I feel a little bit crampy. So I always feel the best somehow with just one or two energy drinks. So this is quite easy. So that are the supplements. What is for me the nice way to train on a home trainer or track or road? I prefer, in the end, it's the best feeling to ride on the road with good weather, and that's a nice way of training. But yeah, I also really like to ride on the track and have the sense of speed in the corners. Yeah, that gives me also a super feeling. But the trainer, I think if there is no other option, I will go on the trainer. But you can do a lot of good efforts on the trainer, especially because the bike is standing really still and really tight, so you can't really move it. So you have to really get all the power from your legs, and it gives you sometimes it's also a good technique training on the bike. Yeah, how is training going so far? I'm quite happy. But the hour is finished, I see. I was thinking about doing some efforts, but maybe I do that later. Normally I will do still today some 30-30 efforts, So 30 seconds, for example, at above threshold, so like 500 watts, then 30 seconds easy. Then again, 500 watts for 30, that 5 times. But that is quite difficult to do, but a very good, effective way to get your training done and get a really good, satisfying feeling within a short period. But I will do that later. I think the training is done. I hope everybody enjoyed the explanation about from the questions. And I want to say everybody take care. Most important thing now is just to stay safe and please stay inside and practice some self-quarantine. I think that is the most important thing, and I think that's the best way to get this over with as soon as possible. So stay safe, everyone.